So I love the offseason because with the offseason comes interesting trade proposals and ideas. And, we like to have a little fun, especially when your team is on the bound of winning, on the path of winning. You get to have these conversations, right? You're not selling, you're buying at this point. I saw an article, and this was on Sports Illustrated, but it was reported somewhere else as well. The Detroit Lions potentially landing Cooper Kupp. Ooh. Now, not saying it's going to happen, but it was a proposal by somebody. It's not like it's been reported it's an actual deal, but just the idea of trading for Cooper Kupp, because we know the Rams at this point, they won their Super Bowl, and now they're sliding in probably to a rebuild. I think Aaron Donald's pretty much done at this point, or at least in the next year. Cooper Kupp is getting up there in age. I think they're eventually going to deal him as well. If you're the Lions, Sam, is there, and not saying it's realistic, but if it was, are you interested in Cooper Kupp to the Detroit Lions?
Yes, I am interested. And first, let me present all sides to this, because Cooper Kupp, despite him in 2021 being great, obviously, and being known as one of the better wide receivers in the NFL, he has played 6 seasons, and believe it or not, has only had 2,000-yard seasons. That is something that is actually a shocking stat to me. And in 2 of those seasons, he missed either the majority of the year or almost half the year with injury. They were cut short. So there is concern about that. But Cooper Kupp, I hope that they don't forget what he did in 2021. He won the regular season receiving Triple Crown and the playoffs receiving Triple Crown while being Super Bowl MVP, while making the biggest catch probably of the postseason for the Los Angeles Rams, that catch to set them up in field goal range after Tampa Bay had come back after the Rams tried to gag that game away. Cooper Kupp arguably had the greatest single wide receiver season in NFL history. And also, I guess this would also be a little bit of a negative. He is expensive. His cap hit is a little bit over $17 million in 2023. In 2024 and 2025, it elevates to $29 million, and in 2026, it's a little over $27 million. But let's not get it twisted. If Cooper Kupp comes to these Detroit Lions, the Detroit Lions will have the best offense in the NFL. Who the hell is going to cover a combination of Amon-Ra St. Brown and Cooper Kupp? With Ben Johnson scheming them open, creating some motion and all of that, who the hell is going to cover that? When are they ever going to punt? Seriously.
Well, I would argue that if you add Cooper Kupp to this wide receiver core,
yes,
to me it's the best on paper.
Yes.
Like, the only competitor would be the Bengals, but I think I would take Amon-Ra over Tyler Boyd.
Sure.
Jamison, I think, could be better than T. Higgins. We haven't seen it, but he can.
Okay, let's slow your roll a little bit.
Well, he's only in 2 seasons. T. Higgins as a third option, I believe. I mean, it's still different receiver.
No,
He's the
hold on.
option.
We're clearing the air here.
Second option, regardless.
And it could be a number one.
Regardless, the point being, it's comparable. I'm not going to sit here and argue T. Higgins, but the point I'm making is Cooper Kupp, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jameson Williams, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase. You want to put them second, fine. They're one of the best in the NFL. That's the point I'm making. And I want to read this article because it's Sports Illustrated made the article, but it was actually referencing a Bleacher Report article that made an article just basically talking about firework trades. One of them was Cooper Kupp to the Detroit Lions, and I want to read some of what they said here. And it was by a guy name, and his first name not sure of, but last name Ballantyne. That was the writer. He wrote, the Detroit Lions could make a case for inclusion by acquiring one of the remaining superstars from the Rams team that won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. The Lions were one of the better offenses in the league behind a good offensive line, a resurgent season from Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown carrying the receiving corpse. Pairing him with Kupp would make the receiving corpse downright nasty. Yeah. Acquiring Kupp would be just the shot in the arm of the Lions' receiving corpse needs, and it would take Ben Johnson's offense to the next level this upcoming season. So, hey, man. Cooper Kupp's intriguing. Now, the question, I guess to play devil's advocate, he's also 30 years old with a cap hit of, $20-ish million. Now, I'm not the cap guy. There's guys that get paid to handle those numbers. I don't know how much of the money that the Rams would pay versus the Lions. I don't know the specifics of it. But I'm assuming that at least the trade for Cooper Kupp would be pretty hefty to go get him. And you're going to be paying him a significant amount of money. And he's 30 years old. Now, I'm not saying he's got nothing left in the tank. I think Cooper Kupp can still be productive. But my worry is, and this isn't his entire career, but at least last season, going down with that injury, playing in only 9 games, there are some injury concerns as well. But again, if you could get Cooper Kupp, I'm not saying pennies on the dollar. That's not going to happen. But for a realistic, at least a friendly offer, something that doesn't, handicap you for years to come because he is under contract, I'm all for it, because I think at this point for the Lions, and Brad Holmes has never been the guy to take big risks, which is also why I don't think this is ever going to happen. You never know, but I don't think so, because Brad likes to keep things flexible, and he hasn't made a big move like this, and at least a risky move, I should say. I think a big move he'll eventually make, but a risky move like this, there is a lot of risk. I don't think he'll do it, but there's no doubt in my mind. And even Braylon Edwards brought this up. If you could pull his tweet up, Braylon was tweeting about this as well. And it was funny to see Braylon comment on it, too, former wide receiver in the NFL. He said, Woodward Sports, would I be crazy if I believe Brad Holmes and the Lions might be secretly working on a deal to bring in Triple Crown wide receiver Cooper Kupp? I mean, it is exciting, Sam, but I got to say, why trade for Cooper Kupp when you got TK85 out there?
Oh, my God.
Goodness.
I mean, you got Tom Kennedy out there. You need a first down, you got your guy. Why do you need Cooper Kupp?
I mean, good luck with that, by the way. Regular season playoff Triple Crown winner, guy who had 8 catches last year. Let me see. Let me weigh that. Can my arm go all the way down to the floor? Can it go all the way down to hell?
That was 8 key catches by TK85, but I am kidding.
No,
and by the way,
obviously.
But Cooper Kupp is intriguing, and I think, listen, if Brad makes a deal for him, or something happens, or he's available, I'm interested. But also, I'm a little hesitant at the same time.
Well, and that's why I never really gave like a full stance of I want Cooper Kupp at all costs, because in order to get him, you would probably have to get rid of some premium draft capital. And we all know that Brad Holmes' biggest strength is what he has done in the draft, basically rebuilding this team to a point where they are division favorites this next year when he came into a 3-win mess. And maybe sacrificing a little bit of your potential future to be better this year. I don't know if that's worth the risk, but at the same time, if Cooper Kupp gives you what he did even last year when he was healthy, certainly the year before, this is the best offense in the NFL. And I think at that point, I'm ready to give the whole Lions could go to the Super Bowl thing, especially if that happens and their defense takes a leap. With Cooper Kupp, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and hopefully Jamison Williams when he comes back, who is going to cover them? Who? Nobody. First down. Like, they're going to score over 30 points a game if they do that. No doubt about it.
Yeah, no, it would be nearly impossible to stop all those guys, because, again, you look at Ben Johnson's offense, I think Cooper Kupp would thrive in his offense, number one.
Yes.
But number two, Jared Goff already has rapport with Cooper Kupp. So there's that, too. So I think Cooper would be a seamless fit. So I'm not arguing the fit. But, again, the money he's making, his age, the health concerns, there are things you worry about. But you're right, Sam. Even in 9 games, he had 800 yards.
Yes.
800 yards. Like, he plays the whole season, that's nearly 1,900 again. So I'm not going to be mad if it is a possibility. I want to get to some of these comments, too, and get the people's thoughts on it. Happy Capper Harry says, bring Aaron Donald, Kupp, and Stafford for future Lions third-round picks.
Keep Stafford out.
We will win the Super Bowl this year.
I'll pass on Stafford.
With those three, probably. Lucas, I'm kind of curious.
What?
Are you in the bring Cooper Kupp to Detroit camp or no?
I'm not anti it, but I'd much rather have DeAndre Hopkins for what this team needs. I don't understand why everybody's glamoring over Cooper Kupp coming off a torn ACL, and we've probably seen, because this is now his second major injury, and if we're just keeping it real, he's not going to be playing with Sean McVay. I understand we have Ben Johnson, but he's probably gone after this year. So then we're going to be having a not as much in his prime Cooper Kupp when you saw DeAndre Hopkins have statistically his best half of a season with Colt McCoy throwing the ball to him. And he's an ex-wide receiver we just talked about, needed Marvin Jones and Josh Reynolds to step up. You wouldn't have to worry about any of that with DeAndre Hopkins. So I'd rather have D-Hop, but I'm not opposed to Cooper Kupp.
Well, D-Hop, you wouldn't have to give anything up.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. And you could
just
get him for 1 year if you want.
And you get him for 1 year. Yeah, Cooper, you're tied up. And the biggest thing to take away from this is you got to have money to re-sign your players. I mean, you got Jonah Jackson coming up. Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to come up. He'll get paid, as he should. But there's a lot of guys you're going to have to re-sign. Penei Sewell as well. He's got to fit your option. But you want to lock him up long term. So I don't think Brad would do this move, but it is worth the conversation because it is the offseason. Gabby, I want to ask you, for Cooper Kupp, do you think it's a move that Brad would make this soon, trading for a wide receiver at 30, making $20-ish million? Does that sound like Brad Holmes at this point?
It doesn't seem to align with his previous moves and his comments that he's made previously on we're not big splash. We're not looking for a big splash right now. We're not going to pay for that right now. So looking at that, I don't believe that this is something that's in the cards at the moment. Could we see it down the road? Maybe. But I don't see it happening right now.
What about you, JB? Cooper Kupp? And you mentioned it earlier. You alluded to it. What are your thoughts on it? Cooper Kupp to Detroit.
I kind of feel like Lucas. Like, I'm not against it. I would definitely be for it as well, too. I know giving up those picks is going to be a lot, especially the assets we're also going to have to give away for him with cash as well, too. But still, if you combine Cooper Kupp, a Triple Crown champion, with Amon-Ra St. Brown and J-Mo, that's like the NWO Wolfpack of wide receivers right there. That is elite right there. That is very scary to think about. But as well as what Gabby said as well, too, of course they're not going to jump and make this huge decision, but what if they jumped and made a huge decision on someone that is proven? Because we all know the Rams, if they start off slow, they could be trying to sell off their assets as well, too. And someone else that we brought up on the heavyweights, someone who is proven, Aaron Donald.
Oh. No.
Who would you rather have, Cooper Kupp or Aaron Donald?
Oh, Aaron Donald.
No way. Not at this point in their career. There's no way you take Aaron
You're
Donald.
high.
The man is going to retire next year. He wanted to retire after the Super Bowl, and he barely did this season. You'd be paying the house, your mortgage, your retirement fund, the 401k, your car insurance for 1 year of Aaron Donald.
You can have my bed. Like, I don't care.
I'm
I'll sleep on the
not
ground.
getting in your bed. I'm not taking
You can have
your
my bed. You can have it all. Take everything from me. Have it all. I'll sleep on the side of Birmingham if I can get Aaron Donald here for 1 year. Dude,
oh my God.
Are you kidding me? Aaron freaking
you know how
Donald?
much you'd have to give up?
One of the greatest defensive players of all time.
You're
Cooper Kupp or
100%
Aaron Donald,
right.
It's easy.
You're 100% right. He's one of the
Because you
greatest.
can trade for both of them.
I mean, you could, but it's not going to happen. They're not going to do that. But just for the longevity and where this team wants to go, you'd have to give up so much for Aaron Donald.
But my point is, you'd have to make a trade for either one. So if you're asking me who would I rather give up assets for, undoubtedly it's Aaron Donald.
It's not like a stupid thing, but if you're giving up a lot for 1 year, it would be like trading for Von Miller last year, like giving up everything. Like they signed, he got hurt, and now he's got 6 years on his deal with like $180 million, and they're kind of like, oh shit, like why did we just do that?
Coach Walk 37 says Jeff roughing it up in Birmingham, roughing it in Birmingham. Yeah, guys, I don't care what it takes. I mean, Aaron Donald, that's a pretty obvious one. It is. Now, do I think it's realistic though for either? No.
Yeah,
I don't think Brad would give up the assets for, again, you talk about the timeline for Cooper Kupp, it's a win now move. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think Cooper gets traded. I think the Rams are going to see what happens this season. They're going to have Kupp and Aaron Donald, but if things start going bad, maybe you get a deal done at the trade deadline, maybe next offseason if the Rams accept they're going into a rebuild, which they are, and they're going to accept it eventually. Maybe it gets done then, but even then he's a year older. But I don't think this is realistic. I don't.
Yeah, no, I don't know if it's necessarily realistic per se, but what's the fun in that? And I get it. There's obvious downsides either if you were to go after Cooper Kupp or even Aaron Donald. I know Aaron Donald got just kind of got thrown into the conversation. Thank you for that, JB. But either of those players, obviously, if they came to this team in a vacuum, would make them one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl, I personally think, especially Aaron Donald, even if you got him for a year. But if you do something like that and maybe risk some draft capital moving forward, there's a lot more pressure on the Lions to win it all this year instead of sustained success. And I don't know if we're quite ready for that as a fan base. I would love to have either one of them, but the risk that would be involved, you know what? I might still do it for Cooper Kupp anyway, just because of the upside that can be brought. But it's not a vacuum. There is a risk, and you could potentially be burning some future success for wanting to go all in for a Super Bowl this year.
And speaking of winning the entire thing, my good friend Sean Murphy, who actually is joining us next segment, so stick around for that, just texted me. Raptors traded for Kawhi, got them a chip. Maybe Aaron Donald, if you get Aaron Donald, could be your piece to get you a Super Bowl, especially in the NFC, but who knows? It's worth the convo.